Welcome to your U.S. Cellular voicemail. You have 5 saved messages. Main menu. To listen to your messages, press 1. First, saved message.
Mom, it's me. I don't know how to explain this feeling, but I think someone's following me. It's probably nothing, but I can't shake it. Anyways, I'll be home soon. I love you.
Welcome back to Hunting Shadows. I'm your host, David Adkisson. Last week, we uncovered the story of Evelyn Parker, a vibrant young woman whose disappearance unraveled the quiet fabric of Havenwood. Today, we continue our journey into the shadows, picking up the threads left behind. This recording, found on Evelyn Parker's phone, dates back to roughly 2 months before her disappearance. At the time, detectives didn't pursue it deeply, brushing it off as vague and inconclusive. But in hindsight, it marked the beginning of a troubling shift in Evelyn's behavior. Shortly after this voicemail, Evelyn began secluding herself, withdrawing from friends and family, and started pouring her thoughts into a mysterious journal. But first, a question for you, dear listeners. Have you ever looked into the darkness and felt it staring back? Evelyn Parker may have. Her late-night walks, her cryptic notebook, and her final hours hold secrets that refuse to remain buried. In this episode, we delve deeper into the chilling symbols etched into the fabric of Havenwood, the whispers of those who've seen too much, and the shadowy figure who may have been following Evelyn that fateful night. This is Hunting Shadows, Episode 2, Whispers in the Dark.
Mom, it's me. I don't know how to explain this feeling, but I think someone's following me. It's probably nothing, but I can't shake it. Anyways, I'll be home soon. I love you.
That voicemail Evelyn left for her mom keeps replaying in my head. It was short, but the fear in her voice was unmistakable. Evelyn wasn't the kind of person to scare easily. So what had her so shaken that night? Her choice of words stands out. I think someone's following me. She wasn't completely certain, but she couldn't ignore the feeling. And then brushing it off at the end. It's probably nothing. It feels like she was trying to protect her mom from worrying while still grappling with her own fear. People tend to downplay their fears, especially when they don't want to worry someone they love. But I can't help but wonder if she knew more than she was letting on, even in that message. Was she trying to convince herself it wasn't real? Or was she trying to protect her mom from worrying? That voicemail feels like it's pointing to something bigger. After hearing Evelyn's voicemail again, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to uncover. During my original interview with Detective Monahan, there was something she said that stuck with me, a hesitation when I asked about witnesses. She seemed reluctant to talk about it, almost brushing it aside. That reluctance has been nagging at me ever since. That hesitation made me wonder, was she protecting someone? Detective Monahan, were there any witnesses who saw Evelyn the night she disappeared?
No, there were no witnesses. At least not any credible ones.
Not credible? What do you mean?
Yeah, well, we had a man come forward, a local named Jacob Harper. He claimed to have seen her near Hollow Creek Trail. But look, Jacob's not exactly a reliable source. Around here, folks say he's about a few cards short of a full deck, if you know what I mean. People talk, he sees things that they're just simply not there.
Well, what exactly was it that he said he saw?
It doesn't matter. I've been doing this job long enough to know when someone's wasting my time.
But what if he wasn't wasting your time? Or isn't it worth checking into?
Listen, I suggest you move on. You're barking up the wrong tree on this one.
Hi there, are you Jacob Harper?
That depends. Who's asking?
My name's David Adkisson. I'm working on a podcast about Evelyn Parker's disappearance. I was hoping to ask you a few questions about what you might have seen that night.
A podcast to say, well, I suppose. Come on in. No need to kick your boots off or anything. Yeah, folks around here know me as Jacob Harper. I keep to myself mostly, don't much care for all the nosy questions and gossip. But I know these woods better than anyone. And let me tell you, there's rules you gotta follow out here. The mountains, they're not just trees and rocks. They got their own way of keeping folks in line. If you don't follow the rules, well, the skinwalkers will get you. I've seen a few things in my time that'll make your hair stand on end. Ain't nobody got any business being in these mountains by themselves. I was out late that night looking for my dog. He always runs off, into the woods near Hollow Creek. That's when I saw her. She was moving fast, like she was trying to get away from something. I called out to her, but she didn't even look at me. Just disappeared into the trees.
What do you mean disappeared? Could you see where she went?
Nope. 1 second she was there, next she was gone. These woods will do that to you, play tricks on your eyes, especially if you're all alone. But it wasn't just that. There was something off about the way she moved, like she just wasn't just scared, she was desperate, She ran like she saw someone, then changed course, like she was trying to dodge someone else. It didn't make sense, but it sure as hell looked like she wasn't running from just one thing.
Did you see anyone else out there? Maybe someone following her?
Didn't see nobody, but it sure felt like there was something. You know that feeling when you're not alone, even when you can't see nothing? That's what it was like. Like the woods themselves were watching.
Jacob Harper's account raises unsettling questions about Evelyn's final moments. His description of her frantic movement, as if dodging more than one person, adds an ominous complexity to the case. Was Evelyn reacting to a threat she could see, or was it something unseen that drove her to change course so abruptly? Detective Monahan's quick dismissal of Jacob's story only deepens the mystery. Was she protecting someone, or simply skeptical of a man she deemed unreliable? Evelyn's voicemail echoes in my mind, her fear barely masked by the words she chose. It wasn't just fear, though it felt like she was bracing for something inevitable. The woods Jacob described feel like a setting for answers, but also for danger. Hollow Creek Trail. Being here now, it's hard to not let your mind wander. The air feels heavy, almost unnatural, and the woods seem to close in around you. Sparse sunlight filters through the canopy, casting everything in shadowy tones. This is a place where Evelyn's car was found, keys in the ignition, door ajar, her purse left untouched. It's almost as if she vanished into thin air, and yet it doesn't feel empty here. There's something else, a lingering presence. Maybe it's the way the trees seem to close in, or the way the wind sounds like it's carrying whispers. The crescent moon symbol is hard to ignore, carved deep into the bark of a nearby tree. It's not the work of someone passing through. Locals whisper about symbols like this, tying them to old Appalachian legends, warnings, left by those who believed the mountains held secrets too dangerous to uncover. Was this carved as a message, a threat, or something else entirely? One thing's for sure, we know it was deliberate, since the carving was found right next to Sarah Wilcox's body, whose head was brutally split open. Despite Jacob's warnings, I decided to come out here alone. Probably not the best idea. These Appalachian mountains have a way of making you feel small. They're beautiful, sure, but they carry an edge of menace, too. Folklore around here runs deep. Stories of ghostly figures, cryptid creatures, and strange lights that appear and vanish without explanation. Some say it's superstition, a way for locals to make sense of the vast and often unforgiving wilderness. Others swear that there's truth in the old tales. Walking off Hollow Creek Trail into the woods, it's easy to see why people believe those stories. The air feels heavier out here. Even the sunlight struggles to break through the dense canopy. It's unsettling, but at the same time, it pulls you in. You start to wonder if the whispers of the forest aren't just your imagination. What really happened here? Every step deeper into these woods feels like a step further from the truth. Jacob Harper's account sticks with me, not because it's dismissed as unreliable, but because it feels like he's onto something. Sure, people say he's a little off, but what if they're wrong? What if Jacob saw what he said he saw? And then there's Detective Monahan. She just dismissed Jacob so quickly, almost defensively, like she's holding something back. It's hard to tell if she's protecting someone, shielding herself from scrutiny, or if this case has touched a nerve she'd rather not discuss. Either way, her reluctance feels like a clue in itself. As for Evelyn, her photos, her journal, her voicemail, they're like pieces of a puzzle that don't quite fit. Her photos feel like breadcrumbs, but they lead in every direction, and none of them make sense yet. That voicemail keeps playing in my head. She sounded scared, but not just scared, like she was bracing for something. It's frustrating circling the truth, but never quite getting there. Jacob's account lingers in my mind, dismissed by some, but it feels important. Then there's Evelyn's notebook, a key piece of evidence that I feel will just tie all of this all together. However, it's the one thing, the one belonging of Evelyn's that is missing. And is it simply a coincidence that the cover of this missing notebook had a creepy moon symbol, as her mother described to me as I was packing my things up from her interview?
Yeah, that notebook was always a bit strange to me. Had the weirdest moon symbol on the front. Creeped me out.
Wait, have what on the cover?
My mind can't help but race to speculate on the connection between the creepy moon symbol on the cover of Evelyn's notebook and the crescent moon that was etched into the tree next to Sarah Wilcox's body. Is this the link that ties them together? And where did Evelyn see this image to place it on the cover of her notebook? Evelyn's notebook. Thanks for meeting with me, Jessica. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about Evelyn.
Of course. I mean, it's still hard to talk about, but if it helps, I'll do it.
You mentioned before that Evelyn was always writing in her notebook. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, she was glued to that thing. I'd joke that it was her best friend. She wasn't just journaling, though. She'd write these notes, make little sketches, things she noticed, things she thought were weird. She'd get this serious look like she was trying to figure out some big mystery.
Do you remember what kind of things she wrote about?
Not really. She never let me read it. But one time I saw her sketching some kind of symbol. It looked like a circle inside a crescent moon. She shut the notebook as soon as she realized I saw it. But later, she mentioned she'd noticed it around town while taking pictures. She said it kept popping up in random places, on old buildings, scratched into park benches, even carved into trees. I didn't think much of it at the time, but it obviously stuck with her.
Evelyn's notebook isn't just a journal, it's a missing piece of her story. But her photographs might hold some of the answers the notebook would have given us. If she saw that symbol in so many places, maybe her camera captured something her words never could. Jessica's insight connects Evelyn to the crescent moon symbol in a way that feels undeniable. And with Sarah Wilcox's death tied to that same symbol, the parallels between them grow harder to ignore. But Evelyn's photos might not be the only link. Another connection worth exploring is a man named Daniel Hurst, who crossed paths with both women. His story might shed more light on the mystery.
Who is it?
Yeah, hi there, Mr. Hurst. My name is David Adkisson. I'm investigating Evelyn Parker's disappearance for my podcast.
Go away. Look, I already told everything to the cops. I don't have anything else to say.
I'd like to hear your side of the story. I want to make sure people don't jump to conclusions or unfairly accuse you of something. Do you mind talking to me?
You promise this ain't gonna get twisted around? I've had enough of people looking at me like I did something.
I promise. Just the facts, straight from you.
All right, but we're gonna do this my way. You mind asking your questions on the road? I feel more at ease in my truck.
Sure thing, not a problem. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable.
I didn't know that missing girl very well. I'd fix stuff for her mom, Miss Parker, sometimes. Leaky faucets, squeaky doors. Her dad wasn't in the picture, so I'd help out here and there, that's all. Strictly professional.
Did she ever seem troubled to you? Did she talk much while you were working?
Not really. She was polite, sure, but quiet. She'd ask if I needed anything, then disappear to her room. Guess she was busy with her own stuff.
Okay, and what about Sarah Wilcox?
That was different. Me and Sarah, we were close. Sure, I did some handy work for her at first, but then her and I became pretty friendly. Sarah would come by my place about once every 2 weeks, not like clockwork or anything. Sometimes we would hang out more, sometimes less. When Evelyn went missing, I heard about it like everyone else and gave my condolences to Miss Parker, and that was about it for almost a year. Apparently Sarah had been keeping up with the disappearance of Evelyn. She wanted to help when she saw Evelyn's case on the news, like everyone else in town. She was always real curious, couldn't let things go. After one of our nights together, she saw this photo of a cracked sidewalk I'd kept. It had Evelyn's name signed on the back. She got real fixated on it, started asking all these questions, where it came from, what it meant.
You had a photo signed by Evelyn?
Yeah. It was something she gave me years ago, after I fixed up a fence for her mom. Thought it was nice, so I kept it. Sarah saw the picture and noticed some kind of symbol scratched into the sidewalk next to the crack. She got all curious, wanted to borrow it.
Did she tell you why she wanted to borrow it?
Said she wanted to check out the symbol. Thought it meant something. I didn't think much of it, so I let her take it. A couple weeks go by, and I don't hear from her. Next thing I know, I'm seeing her face on the news, found dead in the woods.
Had you recognized the symbol? Seen it anywhere else before?
Not really. It just looked like a weird scratch to me. At the time, I figured it was just one of those random things you see and don't think much about. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. Or maybe I didn't want to. Sarah kept saying it felt important. Like it was part of something bigger, but me, I just didn't see it.
Okay, so after the cops found Sarah Wilcox's body in the woods, they brought you in for questioning?
Dragged me in like I was some kind of suspect. They wouldn't listen when I told them about the photo or the symbol. They just kept asking why Sarah had it, like I was supposed to know what she was doing. They treated me like dirt, like I was already guilty. You try telling the truth when they look at you like that? Makes you feel like nothing you say is gonna matter.
Well, so what did you tell them about Sarah?
Told them the truth. She was just curious. Wanted to help with Evelyn's case, but she got too involved, I guess. That symbol got in her head, and now she's gone. And the cops, they ain't solved nothing. Just blame me to make it easy on themselves.
And why would you think that they're blaming...
Hold up, I think we're being followed.
Wait, are you serious?
Pretty damn sure. Don't look back too quick, but there's been a car hanging on us for the past mile. Hold on, I'm gonna try and lose it.
Evelyn's voicemail echoes at the heart of this episode, a stark reminder of her fear and the uncertainty she couldn't escape. Her words resonate through every account we've heard, from Jacob Harper's sighting to Daniel Hurst's tense revelations, painting a picture of a young woman who knew more than she let on. Jacob Harper's account of Evelyn near Hollow Creek Trail introduced chilling new possibilities. The way she moved, dodging as if avoiding multiple threats, suggests a complexity that's hard to ignore. His willingness to share his story and the eerie details he provided make this one of the most vivid parts of this investigation so far. Jessica Moore's insight into Evelyn's notebook and photographs keeps us questioning the connections she was trying to uncover. The crescent moon symbol she captured repeatedly seems to hold a key to both her disappearance and Sarah Wilcox's tragic death. Without her notebook, we turn to her photos, hoping they can reveal what her words might have. And then there's Daniel Hurst, a man caught between professional ties to Evelyn and a deeply personal connection to Sarah. His description of Sarah's fixation on the signed photo, her obsession with the symbol, and her tragic end adds another layer to the tangled relationships in this case. His paranoia on the road, believing we were being followed, underscores the tension surrounding this entire investigation. Finally, Detective Monahan's contradictions stand out. She claimed she never spoke to Daniel, yet his account of police questioning suggests otherwise. Why the discrepancy? Was it an oversight, or is she withholding something vital to the truth? These are questions I can't ignore. Next week, we'll dig into the crescent moon symbol, uncovering its history and its ties to Appalachian folklore, and Evelyn's story. We'll explore more about the people connected to these events, their secrets, their choices, and what those mean for this mystery. The deeper we go, the closer the truth feels. And with it, the risks grow greater. Join me next time as we continue to piece together the story of Evelyn Parker and the haunting mysteries of Havenwood. This is Hunting Shadows. Credits for Hunting Shadows. Episode 2, Whispers in the Dark. Host and producer, David Adkisson. Created by Hot Air Productions in partnership with Fake Crimes Production House, where the thrill of true crime meets the freedom of fiction. No one was harmed in the creation of this story. Episode 2. Special thanks to my dad. Thank you for instilling in me the values of hard work and curiosity. Your lessons continue to inspire me as I uncover these stories. Production team writing, editing, and sound design, David Adkisson. Performances, David Adkisson. Powered by 11 Labs technology to deliver an immersive audio experience. Acknowledgements. This series wouldn't be possible without the unwavering support of family, friends, and the listeners who bring these stories into their hearts. Thank you for believing in this journey and for letting Hunting Shadows become a part of your imagination.